Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's video includes sensitive topics such as human trafficking and SA, which may be distressing for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
They would tell where we lived, where she frequented, that they knew everything about her.
Allegedly, very dark and disturbing activities have taken place since the early days of the internet, including areas of the dark web involving human trafficking and exploitation, primarily targeting women, although men can also be victims. The word allegedly matters because some claims are so extreme they're difficult to fully comprehend. Whether these stories are exaggerated, misunderstood, or rooted in reality, they continue to raise unsettling questions about what human trafficking horrors remain to be uncovered on the dark web.
Delete all those Facebook friends that you don't know. Those people on Instagram, those people on Snapchat, all those people that you don't know, delete them. Please watch this and share this with as many people. This can save someone, and it's really crazy what I'm about to share.
This mother is sharing her daughter's story tonight, not to scare people, but to warn that accused predators could be hiding in plain sight. Now, because this girl is a minor, Atlanta News First is not revealing the name or the face of her mother for the sake of her protection. I'm always worried about other places. When you go on vacation, when you go here and go there, and it happened here. Right around us.
This Jasper, same church at one point, but say they otherwise did not converse with him.
We were not his friend. We were his social media.
Arrested by the Jasper County Sheriff's Office and eventually indicted mid-August on the charges of cruelty to children, trafficking of persons for sexual servitude, and criminal attempt to commit a felony, including kidnapping. She says her daughter was homeschooled and had no online presence. They thought they did everything right to keep her safe.
I do know that everybody's story doesn't end up like this. And if I can protect one person to tell this story, I don't want anybody to go through what we're going through.
How are they selling kids? What's that marketplace? Where is it? Is it online?
You gotta be part of the inner circle, but a lot of us through the dark web. The members of cartels are animals. They don't care about these people. These people are a commodity. And there's been several instances where women and children that I've been involved with through investigations were sexually assaulted by the cartels, just raping for the hell of it. And I've seen rape trees where these smugglers would just hang panties up in a tree as a trophy.
You just know for a fact that this guy's probably witnessed some absolutely traumatizing things, and he probably knows the way the world really runs. What was interesting about that, though, was the mention of the dark web. There's a misconception that it's just some place where college hackers buy smoke and stuff like that. No, it is a very sinister arena. And when they say you can get anything on there, well, that's the exact reason what it was built for. I just hope people are waking up and starting to come to terms with the fact that the world is really not what it seems.
Trigger warning, you guys, this is really difficult to listen to. So there was an ad that was posted on the dark web where this guy said that he was selling these live human dolls. So he explains how he created these human dolls. So he said that he will take in these young orphan girls. He would then remove all of their limbs, arms, legs. He would also remove their teeth so that this person doesn't bite you. He will remove the tongue, vocal cord. So once they are healed, he will then create this connection from where the arms were to the back, so you can hang them on the wall. So because this person has to become a slave, he now has to torture them mentally and physically. This is the scariest bit. So he films them being tortured, and then he shows them this film for hours. So he puts the headphones on this person and then plays this really loud sound for hours. Now they are then physically tortured. They are in a lot of pain. They can no longer take it. They're not even able to scream anymore. After all of this is done to them, they start to listen, they start to obey, and this is when they become a slave. He is then able to sell them as a live doll that you can do whatever you want.
Whether it's the North or South, Korea is well known for its unbelievable lifestyles. But the nth room caught my attention in the worst way. The nth room was this infamous chat room on the dark web. Well, it consisted of many different chat rooms, but the whole entire shebang was known as the nth room. The nth room is where women of all ages, old, middle-aged, 20s, young, small children, were all extorted, tortured, essayed, even trafficked for the amusement of over 200,000 paying anonymous members. To even become a member of these chat rooms, you would have to submit proof of you abusing or extorting a woman or a small girl in your family or anyone close to you. You would have to submit just disgustingness. Somewhere in the years of 2018 and 2019, a group of perverted criminal minds would come together and start this havoc on the popular app known as Telegram. It would initially start with the user known as God, whose real name is Moon Hyung Wook. God would start what we know today as the nth rooms. Some of these rooms would be called the female child room, slave room, and anybody who knows about the nth rooms, the infamous doctor's room. The nth rooms consisted of multiple rooms, just under different names, but the same sinister, evil content. Actually, the more wicked the room, the higher people would pay. And of course, some would submit small payments, $25, $50, $100. But there were high paying users paying anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And I'm pretty sure you guessed it, the nth rooms were consisted of about 99.9% males, if not completely 100% males. They would blackmail young girls out of very, very private and personal information and use this information to get them to do whatever they wanted. This would usually start with blackmailing the young girls out of very explicit photos and video of them. Not just girls, but just small children even. These men would pay top dollar to watch these girls be humiliated and tortured. They would have them lick the urine off of public toilet seats. They would have them carve the word slave into their bodies. They would even have some of them insert live insects into their private parts. As we know, though, average citizens do not have money like that to just blow to watch things like this. To expend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to have girls do this kind of things, you would have to be, like we know some of them were celebrity figures in Korea. They were doctors, they were lawyers, they were public figures, they're celebrities that were in this. But unfortunately, a lot of them would get away with this, and they're still walking free today. A lot of the creators were arrested and put into prison, but the viewers, the ones who paid for these despicable crimes, are still walking amongst us.
The most notorious of them all was run by a man known as 박사, meaning doctor in Korean. This chat room required the most expensive entrance fee of about 1 million won, or $800, paid in cryptocurrency. The victims' addresses and phone numbers were revealed, and some customers were physically sent over to rape them on camera. Victims were told to carve the words slave or 박사 on their body.
어떤 말이 그냥 눈알 뽑아버리고 싶다 이 얘기를 많이 했거든요. 저희가 보는 것도 너무 괴로워서 벌레들이 이제 여성의 상기에서 기어다니는 영상 같은 거는 정말 잠도 못 잤거든요. 그런 영상을 보고는 너무 끔찍해서.
These horrific crimes first came to light in 2019 thanks to an unlikely duo, two college journalism students working under the alias Team Flame. For months, they infiltrated the chat rooms pretending to be customers and published an in-depth expose. The police were able to arrest those behind the chat rooms. Gata turned out to be a 24-year-old named Moon Hyung-wook, and 박사, a 25-year-old college student, Jo Ju-bin.
멈출 수 없었던 악마의 삶을 멈춰주셔서 정말 감사합니다.
By November 2020, the police had arrested over 60 chat room operators. All in all, the videos had been anonymously shared and sold to over 260,000 users. Moon was sentenced to 34 years in prison, and Jo to 40.
If you somehow have not seen this story yet, CNN spent months investigating several group chats where thousands of men have reportedly been exchanging tips and advice and stories about how to drug women to SA them. I've been following the response to this story on social media, and I've seen maybe a dozen men who are already trying to diminish just how bad this is. Saying that the website at the center of this story is not devoted to sharing tips on sexual assault. That the figure of 62 million visitors shouldn't be conflated with the number of men visiting, because presumably each user is visiting multiple times over the course of a month. And the actual number of men is probably like 2 orders of magnitude lower. As if to say that it's not really a problem if it's only hundreds of thousands or even tens of thousands of men who are sharing this advice about drugging somebody as opposed to tens of millions. And to that point specifically, I want everyone to recall the very recent case of Dominique Pellico, the man who drugged his wife for several years and invited somewhere around 70 or 75 complete strangers from the internet who he met in chat groups like the one described in this story to come over and assault her in her sleep. Nearly all of whom lived within driving distance of their sleepy town of 6,000 people in the French countryside. And I know that there are men who are turning this into a math problem in order to make it seem like it's not really a big deal. I know this because I have seen men trying to determine what percentage of the total adult male population of the world this translates into. And so the rest of this video, it's for all of us, but it's specifically for you. Any number over 0 is too high. This is also a reminder that it is totally fair for everyone to assume that any one of us could have been one of the men in that group. You might know that you're not, that you are a good person. Nobody else knows that. If you're now wondering, what can we do about it? What can I do about it? I certainly don't want spaces like this to exist, or even if you're just thinking selfishly, I don't want anyone to associate me with men like this. We can make it clear that the cost for being involved in these groups is one that they should not be willing to pay. Changing their minds is probably more than we can expect to accomplish. But making it clear that they will face considerable social, legal, and potentially physical costs, that's something that we can manage. And we do that by repeatedly and loudly asserting that this is a major problem and that we are committed to ending it. But minimizing it, insisting that it's actually only a very small fraction of men, and in any case it's not me, why are you saying all men as if to suggest that it's me? That just gives them cover. If you honestly believe that you are not the problem, then you gotta actively be part of the solution.
What are we doing? Like, honestly, what are we doing? Where are we as a society? In case you missed it, there was a CNN report. There's this group of men who are literally on the app Telegram trying to figure out how to drug and then rape their own wives. And then separately, there was another one in Germany consisting of like 70,000 men who are sharing tips and secrets on how and what drugs to use and how to do it to drug women and basically take advantage of them. Not all men, but always a man. Here we go. Your own wife? Have you tried taking her to dinner? Have you tried going on a date? Buying her some flowers, rubbing her feet? Like, have you tried therapy? Go on Amazon. You can buy a very realistic sex doll for like, I don't know, anywhere between like 30 and 80 bucks. What are you doing? Or how about this? Get a divorce. They're literally drugging their wives, and there's this thing called an eye test where they literally like pull their eyes back to see if their wife is sleeping. Like, I can't. Every time I get on this app, there's something new. There's some pastor who's going on a missionary trip and abusing kids. There's some Epstein revelation that we've realized that these men in power are just absolute monsters. And I can't even begin to like wrap my brain around it. Maybe just have like a little bit of empathy and like respect for other people and acknowledge like, yeah, I got a screwed up brain, but I'm not going to act on it. Pay for a prostitute. Like, I wish there was 70,000 men in a group chat trying to figure out, like, how do I make a sex doll feel more realistic? You're willing to commit a crime against your own wife because you need sex that bad. I don't even know what to say anymore.
I'm Leah, a 29-year-old grad student in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. While researching human trafficking networks, I stumbled into a hidden dark web forum. One username posted addresses of women in my city. Mine was listed, with a timestamp marked soon. I called the police immediately. They traced the IP address to a man working night security at my university. He had been monitoring female students through packed campus cameras. He was arrested that night. The FBI confirmed he was part of a pay-per-view stalking ring. He's now in federal custody for conspiracy and cybercrime.
Auction site, but it's human trafficking? What's the most disturbing thing you've seen on the dark web? I was browsing the dark web and came across something that looked like eBay, but with people. Instead of pictures of products, pictures of terrified children, often in pajamas, holding slips of paper with numbers. Product A34, 7 years old, healthy, obedient, delivery 3 days. Prices, $30,000 to $50,000 in cryptocurrencies. I reported it where I could, but the link disappeared after an hour.
Somebody went on the dark web and found a bunch of creepy listings for shoes, and most of the shoes appear to be covered in blood. Now, there's a lot of creepy theories. One is that you are buying the shoes that somebody passed away in. Another theory is that you are buying a deceased body along with the shoes. If we take a look here, it says Nina. It has people's names, Nina, Clara, Daniel, and then it has ages. Age 18, age 17. That is absolutely horrifying. Yeah, look, all of them are covered in blood.
These are the top 3 questions traffickers and other types of criminals in that genre ask the most when committing predatory behavior to victimize. I'm Brian. I'm a licensed private detective and a retired law enforcement officer. I've conducted hundreds of interviews. Data that I'm presenting to you right now, as simplistic as it is, comes from a lot of the cases that I've handled and a lot of other research that's out there from law enforcement. Here you go. Number 1. Are you here alone? Are you alone? No, I'm not alone. I'm never alone. That's the tone. That's the mindset. Number 2. What's your name? Never disclose your personal identifiable information. Understand as well, you are being surveilled, you are being recorded, it's all monitored. Face-to-face human trafficking or cybercrime, doesn't matter. Predatory behavior only getting worse, and the knowledge to combat this needs to be there. Last but not least, where do you live? Or who do you live with? That's answered incorrectly provide an enormous amount of reach for the perpetrator. These situations for any potential victim can be very daunting. It's going to happen anytime, any gender, any race, any age demographic. Wake up. My recommendation, be non-approachable. Extremely non-approachable.
What if international trafficking rings turn child abduction into a dark web marketplace where buyers bid on victims in real time? These networks could scan social media profiles to map your family's daily routines, identifying when children are most vulnerable. Using facial recognition and location data, they'd coordinate simultaneous kidnappings across multiple cities within hours. The immediate chaos would be devastating. Parents frantically calling police while criminals vanish through pre-established smuggling routes. But the ripple effects get worse. Fake Amber Alerts flood the system, confusing law enforcement responses. Corrupt border officials wave through suspicious vehicles. Missing children databases get hacked to erase evidence. The most disturbing possibility? Advance orders for specific types of children, turning abduction into a custom hunting operation. Wealthy predators place requests like shopping lists, while trafficking teams fulfill orders with military precision. Every photo you post, every location you share, every routine you follow creates a detailed blueprint criminals could exploit. Your digital footprint becomes their roadmap to tragedy.
It's unsettling how human trafficking on the internet can feel distant, yet exist far closer than we'd ever want to believe, especially in our modern world where so much of our lives exists on social media and our personal information is shared so easily. We've basically become more accessible than we think. And the most chilling part is this: we still don't have a full picture of what we're dealing with. But the tragic reality is that many people are affected far more than we realize, and that alone should make us pause. It should make us question what we share, who has access to it, and how easily our digital footprints can be seen by the wrong eyes. So stay safe, protect yourself and those around you, talk to your children, because sometimes the danger doesn't look like danger until it's too late. If this made you think, I'd really like to hear your perspective in the comments. These conversations matter more than we realize, and if you want more content like this, consider subscribing. Take care and stay safe. Ta-ta!